Good morning, me. Good morning, Pete. Good morning, AWS. Good morning. Good morning. So we had basically one stock pop up this morning, which was RUBI. Looks like it made, let's see, let me go to the 10-second chart. Okay, so popped up, pulled down, pulled away, dropped back down, slowly rallied, all of a sudden rips. Oh, great. On the 1-minute chart, good dip trade there. Let's go to the 5. Looks like it curled. Good morning, Q. Good morning, everyone. You know, it's been really slow. Like remarkably slow. This is RUBI. Let's see. IBO. BXL. Good morning, Sunil. Good morning, Bobby. Good morning, everyone. Let's see here. BOXL is curling a little bit. It's just cheaper. It'll be very thickly traded, especially on the level 2. We made some after hours high here. So here's your potential break over 170 over on BOXL. There's 172 there. How high do I think this is going to go? I'm not really too sure. And, the reason is we have a high volume red candle on the 5-minute right here that popped up, and it's dropped down each time it's tried to break over this level. The one thing that it does have going for it is that we're breaking currently over the 170 here. Yeah, I agree, Q. It's been super daunting to trade all of this month, really. I totally agree with you. This is a nice dip for that curl back through 170. There's some selling up here, but I would love to see the breakthrough 175 and maybe that squeeze to 80. Looks like it's pulling back though. Yeah, right now. I mean, you could easily get something that just randomly pulls away. But then you got to worry about it, doing a false breakout and yada yada. But I think we just got to be patient, I guess. Hopefully we're not just sitting here all day. I would think. I like Ruby for curl. I don't know if it's going to though. I've tried a couple sub VWAP breakouts, and each time I've tried, it hasn't worked out too well. We're coming up to 7 a.m. here. Let's see if this one wants to break out. I would worry about it flushing. There's 80, there's 90, 94. Right now, VWAP is at $3 a share. Watching for the breakthrough 3. There's 95. There's a 10,000 share seller at 97. They placed the order at 95, adding here at 99, looking for the breakthrough 3. That's 304. I'm going to hold this to see if it goes. I'm in at 98. There's 301, 303. Only 100 share starter. Here's your dip. There's 305, 306. Nice. Holding this to see if it goes back through highs here. Watching for the retest. There you go. There's 320. Now I want to see if this starts pulling away up over coming into 7 a.m. It could be nice. I have a good cost basis. All the way back down though. So here's 7 a.m. Stop at 298. Big seller here. All right, here's 7 a.m. More momentum. That's some green on the tape. Stopping out flat. That's really worrisome. You know, up 30 cents a share and then all the way back down. Watching for the breakup over 310. Yeah, I was thinking about selling after the rejection, but you know, it is what it is. Honestly, I thought after that pop it would pull back and then we could see even it go to 340-ish. BOXL breaking out as well. Yeah, I did the same thing yesterday. In a hot market, that's going to play out. We're just in a little bit of a colder one. So watching for the break over 310 now. At 303, 302. Selling volume is lighter on the 1 minute pullback. The 10-second, a little bit stronger than what you would like to see. What would be interesting if this thing curl from the 90 MA on the 1 minute and pop back up. We did have a random pop previously. There you go. I don't know if I said it, but good morning, trucker. But maybe the base hits are worth taking in this type of market right now. Nice bounce. Watching here. That's 303. Does it get shorted or it holds? 302. VWAP is at $3. We're just underneath it. So this is the pop that we were talking about. 305. I'm looking for the breakthrough 310 and back to 320. Adding here at 303, adding here at 304. Watching for a pop to 3010-ish. There's 307. There you go, 310. Watching for the break up over 310. Just go to 315. First 5-minute candle to make a new high here. We do have VWAP as support as well. There's a seller here at 310. Watching for a dip just under VWAP and then watch that push through. 304, 305. There's a sub VWAP dip here. Now watch that curl. There you go. There's 310. Again, still not breaking up over. 311. Trying to put a profit target out. Oh, there you go. Okay, so profit target order. 307 here. The other profit target order won't go through. There's definitely some selling in this area. Good morning, Monica. There you go. Back up to just under flat. 306. Now watch for the squeeze through 310. There's 310. Looking for 315. There you go. 315 there. Taking some off. Just super heavy here. Just protecting some risk. Looking for the breakthrough 320. New 5-minute candle opening up in 30 seconds. Hopefully we can hold over this. I took some off at 313. Now watching for the breakup over 320 and 325 for the squeeze back to 340. I think shorts would probably cover up over 320, 325. But it is pretty seller heavy right now. So stop is break even now that we popped up over 315. Here's your new 5-minute candle. Now you're looking for the breakthrough 315, 316. There's a 20,000 share seller at 318 here. So stopping out flat there. I just have a feeling that this wants to go. It's no news runner, but I don't want to push it if it's not going to go. Especially with all the heavy selling there is at just over 310. Adding here at 311. Watching for a curl all the way back through 15 here. Smaller share size add. I think it's worth a stab for a curl. There's 313. Nice. Now you're looking for 15. New 1 minute candle forms. There's 15. Some crazy resistance up here. 16. If the sellers move out of the way, this could pull up to 20s and possibly even 30s back through highs. So just watch as this curls. And then you're looking for your first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Up over 320. So that's 315. That's 320. Nice. Taking some off here at 320s. Didn't take a lot off there. Average cost is 311. Stopping out flat for the rest. So, I'm green on it, but it's just not pulling away. It's very, very thick. So we have a doji candle now after a green candle. Not really a good sign. MACD crossing over a negative. No trades in this area for me, I don't think. Unless this starts pulling away up over 326. I really want to see 330. And then if I can see 330, I'm looking for 40s, 50s, and a squeeze higher. So that would be a short squeeze covering. So on a stock like this, very thickly traded, slow moving, I actually remove my intervals. So I have no interval on currently. But after the stock stops moving, I might add it for a potential squeeze on another stock. So dip off of VWAP here. It's kind of the perfect storm to finally start pulling away. We touch support. Now we're curling. So watch for the breakup over 320 here. I don't know how I feel about JZXN. Chinese company does have news. They came out with their $60 million private placement headline, which, probably hit some algos again today. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, Ruby pulled away there. What? So Ruby, I was looking for this exact thing to happen. It faded off. I kind of wrote it off, thinking they might just sell off the rest of the day. So now that we're trading in this area, what I could potentially see is break over 40s. Looks like that's pretty much a key level of resistance here. If we can get over 40, then we're looking for squeeze to 360 back through highs. So watching a dip here. I'm going to take a small starter here at 35, watching for a pop back through 40s. There's 40, 43, 44. I took quarter off there in case it tanks. Average is 35. So that was a dip trade just underneath 40s here. Now, if it holds 40s, you're looking to see if this curls back through 60s. But we need to break over 350 first. So here's 350. Let's see if it holds over 350, taking some off into the 350s as well. Now we want to see if it holds 350s. There you go. There's so many sellers up here in 350s though. There you go, 352. Now I'm looking for a squeeze back to 360. So trying to hold this one longer, my entry is pretty much perfectly at the low of this candle. So that gives me a little bit of wiggle room to hold. Dip back down to support here. I feel like because some of these trades I haven't been able to pull out much, if I'm being honest. I've taken some really good trades, but I've only been taking, you know, quarters and halves off on the top. So my P&L doesn't reflect how good some of these entries work. I'm going to pull up the order execution again to show you know, some of my trades. Nice, back up to 51. Let's see if it can hold over 50 with the bid, right? So my eyes glance at the bid to see if there's support. I see a big buyer, but you know, not a lot of actual buying coming through. So this would be the moment of truth for there you go. Now watching 60. This could look interesting for a curl through 60s. I want to see if it can break back over highs here. All right, so watching for 53, 55, and 60. There's 55. We have a big seller here. I'm going to take half off and then just hold 29 shares for the breakthrough 360, 370. Stop, break even on the rest. I can always add back to this position as well. I need to set a hotkey for a larger share size. Because, I don't know, this is... it'd be killer to have a larger share size on this one. There you go. Now watching for the breakthrough 70. Let's see if it pulls away. New 5-minute candle. Watching for the break back through 58. That's 58, 59. Adding here at 59. There's a big seller though. I'll give it a chance. There's 60. Watching for the breakthrough 60. Average position 53. So I move my cost basis up to 53. Gives me a little bit of cushion for in case of a rejection up here. There's 58. So stopping out flat for the rest. Can always add back looking for the breakthrough. 58 here. So that would have been a really nice squeeze through high a day. Watching for a potential core rejection pattern. We do have support here. It's the line of 340, while also having the 90 MA on the 1-minute chart. Watching here in case this is a rejection candle. Adding here at 58. There you go. Now watching for the breakup over 89 and 90. Stop, break even on the rest. Now that this starts pulling away, shorts might start covering. That was a breakthrough first candle to make a new high. Timed that pretty perfectly. Average position right now is 59. I punched that with 200 shares, sold at the very top. There's 75. Now you're looking for the breakthrough 75, 80, and the squeeze back through 90 and $4 a share. Sometimes these can just pick up steam pretty much randomly. And they can give off some really nice moves. So there's 75. There is some resistance here at 75. Nice. Now up to 80, 83. I really want to see this start pulling away through 90s and $4 a share. If we see 390, it's almost guaranteed. I shouldn't say guaranteed, but it's pretty close that we're going to see $4 a share on this. I'm not a huge fan of these candle wicks in this area, so I'm going to take a quarter off there, protecting some risk as it comes back down, and then watching for the next curl back through. It's a new 5-minute candle as well. So I can imagine a little bit of a dip coming in, being extended from the 9 EMA, and then I can hold from my average. We also have ELAB moving. I don't know, since I'm in a trade right now, I'm going to stay put and not look at ELAB, but it looks like a cheaper stock. Nice dip. So this is a seller here at 14,000 shares. Now you're watching for a dip and then a claim back up to 380s. And then watch that squeeze. So here's your dip. Now watch the curl. Big bid here. There's 75. Now here's your curl. Now you're looking for the breakthrough 80, 79, 80. Seller here at 80. New 1-minute candle. It's kind of unfortunate timing for a first 1-minute candle to open up here. There's 89. Still watching this breakthrough. $4 a share. If I see a rejection candle, I'll basically get out like now. So here is my executions from Ruby. A lot of them were pretty decent. So I got this VWAP breakout here, high day add, pops up, dips back down to my entry, sold flat, dips, curls, pops up. I hold for this extension, pops up, sold a little bit here in this area. And now Ruby's selling off a little bit, but perfect bottoming candle here, perfect add for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high, a little bit extended, right? I didn't get in, basically flat, but the reason why is because I was worried about it popping up, rejecting. So I made sure it held up, then looked for the breakthrough 355, popped up to 358. I punched it, 200 shares, immediately taking some profit off into the 380s. And then I was looking for the breakthrough 4, rejects, sold flat here on that rejection. So pretty good trades so far this morning. Now that Ruby's pulling back, it's interesting to see what it wants to do here. MACD's crossing over negative, but we could set up for a potential 5-minute chart setup, especially coming back down to the 9 EMA on the 5-minute. So now we're looking at this. It kind of looks like the backside of the move. Possible head and shoulders pattern. But it'll be on watch. Let's look at ELAB real quick. ELAB looks like it popped up. JZXN, not super interested in it. So I'm worried about a small rejection in this area, due to the fact that we already had a rejection previously and the MACD's crossed over negative. So to me, we have about a minute left on this 5-minute candle, and you could see a possible break through that, but I'm worried that it's going to pop up here and reject. So if we can get over maybe 75, 78, there you go, nice curl. Watch in case of this rejection and watch for the breakthrough 80s. So 78, it's the high as this candle. Kind of marking the level here. So remember, head and shoulders pattern could come through here. There's a big seller at 75. I think it might need some more time to pull back. So I think some of the factors that Ruby had for it was a recent verse split on this day, 7.8 to 1. Very specific. It did pop up, not too long ago, making this move here and then dropping back down. So I don't think a lot of people were probably in this move. The volume on it was only 80,000 shares. So that created a little bit less resistance. The only thing that I would assume is, there's a little bit of insiders in this area. So now that we're coming down to support here, maybe we can see a curl back up the 360s. But I would assume that Ruby might be done for the day. And, we have this head and shoulders pattern. And typically what that means is a sell off all the way back down. So shorts might get a little bit confident. But if this quickly turns around, right, that could be another story. Nice pop there. CISS pulling up here as well. It's cheaper, no news. What's interesting, it's from the same region. Is that Germany? GR. No, it's Greece. So same country code as Ruby. But it's cheaper. Kind of a similar pattern as well. I think getting in this area would be kind of high. Ruby pop up here. New 5-minute candle could make a new high for the breakup over 360, but I don't know. There's just not a lot of momentum in this area. All right, so I think one of the things that I probably need to figure out is this hockey situation. So I have a profit target order, Shift R, for my average cost to sell about half my position. Maybe I gotta get rid of this. Arca L, average cost. I'll try this and see if that works. Because each time I try to send that order rejected, but I could sell above the current price. Average cost. So 8 o'clock here, ADFN order is going through. So this is your first 1 minute candle to make new high above 49. You also are coming into some resistance here. Oh, sorry, 53 is the high. ENVB. Nice pop there. So wanted to see if this could hold up first. And now that it's holding up, it looks interesting. Nice up to 4. Wow. So that changes things a little bit for today. You have plenty of room here. We have resistance at 450, drop back down to 4. You have a big seller coming in, 381. Still that big seller at 399 here, getting bought up. So I didn't add into that immediately. Some of the reason why is I wasn't too sure if it was going to hold up or reject. But, you know, clearly being a biotech stock, this is definitely got some momentum on it. So hopefully it doesn't full round trip here. We're already back down to 330s. Watching for a small dip. High volume selling candle. No ad here yet. Adding here at 44. Taking some off at 60. Selling the rest, break even. Small scalp. Nice back to 60 here. 62 there on the ask. Holding over 65. Nice 70. Sweet. So that's your first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Be careful getting caught in this rejection if it doesn't want to go. Being patient, waiting for a crow back up to 4. So there's your rejection. Now watch for a crow rejection pattern. So, you know, if I take a stab here, I'll be trading below VWAP. So looking for an ad. That's 23, 22. Small ad here at 30. Watching for a pop back up to 35. There's some selling here. Hidden seller at 30. Giving it a second to go. Do have a cushion on it. There's 30. There's green on the tape. Dropping back down to 20s. But huge seller coming in. So going red on this stock here. Kind of makes sense for there to be some selling there, especially with that hidden seller showing and then placing their order. Looks like someone was ready to sell this one. I like this VWAP dip, or this 90 MA dip though. So pretty high volume selling candles coming in here. I bought this dip just down here thinking that it might pull away again back up to 4. Some pretty crazy selling. Bought this dip here as well. So almost a full round trip coming in on ENVB here. So Ruby's curling. OSS moving up here. $10 million new awards from US Navy, Poseidon aircraft program. Decent headline. I'll put up on the level 2. The float's a little bit higher. It's easy to borrow as well. So ENVB here, pretty much full round trip, popped up to a high of 450 and then all the way back down to 2. Took 2 stabs looking for a possible bounce. One bounce here, another bounce here. This one didn't end up working out. The loser was bigger than the winner. TRNR curling up here as well. High day breakout is up over 69. Ruby, another curl here. What is our pivot level? Probably 50s. MACD is crossing over positive. There you go. Nice push up there. So I don't want to give back, too much profit off the top. I think, some of what I'm looking for is it to hold. And if it can hold, then that looks pretty and looks nice. But until then, I think you have to be careful in some of these areas because it has shown multiple rejections here, especially on the backside of this move. Oh, the hotkey file is missing? Oh, wow. Yeah, that's very frustrating, Q. Especially when you make the right decision and then you don't get rewarded for it. What did the file get deleted or that certain hotkey or the whole thing entirely? Was the first trade? Gotcha. Yeah, that's frustrating. That's a good question, Pete. I'm not too sure. I mean, if the tariffs get removed, that would theoretically, I guess, increase spending due to prices being cheaper. And if that's the case, the economy, does decent, then that would make, the market respond well. Is kind of my thoughts on that. But I wish I knew more about it because I would definitely love to know more. So, in this area, it kind of looks nice setup for a breakthrough 50s. So I'm going to watch here. I like the volume candle so far. So watching a dip, maybe a curl back through 50s. Kind of choppy in this area though. Yeah, I think so as well, Pete. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Especially for these smaller, companies, opening some restrictions helps them grow more. So it's good for small caps. So sell off so far coming in on Ruby. You know, it could have looked nice for a breakthrough 50s there and hold. It still has the capability of doing that, but I don't know. We'll see. There's 48 there. I'm watching for the breakthrough 50. Do have a little bit of support down here at 41. CDIO curling. Nice breakout there. Looks like you have some resistance here at 266. High days 285. You have a big seller up here at 255 on CDIO, but then also a big bid, about 40,000 shares here. It could be order spoofing. It looks a little silly. US company reports 13D. So someone bought a large position. PFSA here hitting the scanner as well. So multiple stocks running now at the same time. PFSA is a little bit cheaper. CDIO, let's check this one out. Holding. worried that CDIO might reject here. It's kind of like an ATGL setup. There's lots of news headlines coming out right now, though. Ruby a curl. First 1 minute candle to make a new high here. There's 49. So attention is a little bit dispersed right now. It's not a great thing. So CDIO is a continuation from yesterday on regular market hours where it started pulling away slightly. Right now we're rejecting off of first 1 minute candle to make a new high. That gives room for Ruby to potentially squeeze up over 350 as people switch off. About 20,000 shares, 30,000 shares just up here. I like the green volume coming in. It's good. Adding here at 44. Now I'm watching for the curl through 51. Here's 50, 51, nice. Let's see if the sellers get removed. And now you're looking for the breakup over 55. There you go. There you go. Average cost right now. 44. There's $4 a share. That's nice. Thanks, Overtime. So that was a bottom bounce dip off of support at 341. I think a lot of people were waiting for that one. So watching for this dip and a small curl back through. There's a huge seller here though. Low of this candle is 77. I would love to see this back through 90s and $4 a share. It could start pulling away. So could see a first 1 minute candle make a new high here. Watch as this dips and then curls. I didn't take any profit off of 4, thinking that we might snap over 4 and continue going. So this is your first 1 minute candle to make a new high. Feels like there's a hidden seller up here. Previous breakout spot in this area was pretty rough. They rejected this before. So watching the first 1 minute candle to make, or 5 minute candle to make a new high here up over 4. About 10 seconds. Because it's not failing, this could be nice. There's 87. So I'm thinking, if we can get over 95, could look nice, but it's really, really thick up here. Watching for a bounce play back up to 90s as shorts are getting caught off guard. There you go, 90. Sweet. Now watch for a breakthrough 92, 93. This is strong here. New 1 minute candle forming. It's a good sign for strength to come through for the squeeze through 90. There's 87. Watch the dip. And then the curl. 88. Not going fully though. We have some strong uptrend here, but I'm worried that if it sells off, it's just going to plummet. There you go. There's 4. There's 405. Holding the rest, looking for potential squeeze up to 420, and maybe it starts pulling away because it's holding up over 4. Nice. There's 4. Now watching for 425, and then the squeeze through maybe 450. There is a big seller up here. I took half off there and into that pop just over 4 to protect some risk in case it dropped back down. They squeeze there. So typically this is an area where shorts could potentially get wrecked as it continues squeezing. Would love to see a dip and then pull through 425. This is your first 1 minute. Can I make new high? I don't think it's ready to go off this break yet. So I'm going to take it all off there for a decent profit on this one. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate it. No, no, I think there's probably a couple other traders that used larger share size than me and pulled off some pretty good profits. The reason why I took it off there is I'm worried that it's gonna reject. It's cool that it's up here at 25, but it seems too good to be true for me, especially being extended off the 5. Do you think you can put in your position summary window share size, how to add and sell half if you can? Yeah, I got you. Do I not have that in there? Oh no, I don't. So that was what I was worried about on Ruby there. You're holding but sold too early. Gotcha. Yeah, I think my mindset has kind of shifted towards holding longer. I'll take my initial quarters off 10 cents or 20 cents higher, and then I'll just let the rest ride. And so maybe that's a strategy to look for. And then what I'm looking for is candles like this. How does it respond? And candles like this, how does it respond? And it makes me worried that because it's wick heavy, we're going to see a rejection. And I mean, I guess I could have held through this next 1 minute candle, make a new high, but I was a little bit worried that it might tank to 4,380 and continue going down lower. But I think that's going to be it for Ruby. I don't think we're going to see any more moves on it. Let's see, overtime. If you could zoom in on your entry and exit a little bit more, so I can see if it was higher or not, that'd be great. So just, compile it like this so the candles are a little bit larger. Oh, thanks. Oh, just before the pop overtime. Yeah, nice buy there. Held through a dip. Dip reclaimed. Yeah, definitely. I would watch out for a dip like this, especially a little bit of what I've learned over the time of seeing stocks like this pop up. And there's a couple in the live trading archives that you can watch out for this one as well, which would be let me set this up real quick. Okay. When the stock pops up the way it does, and especially when it's super thickly traded, it ends up chopping out in this area for a while. It dips down, and on that dip, that's where it really shows if buyers support it or not. And so, especially getting in a little bit too high in this area, looking for that squeeze can be a little bit daunting, right? So, instead, what I really recommend is looking for a small dip either in this area or this area where you can protect a little bit of risk instead of getting in too high. Especially if you're breaking out on or taking breakout trades on a stock that's super thickly traded, it's very hard to judge and time those. So, um, yeah, watching for dips on a stock like this, especially in this area, first 1 minute candle dip, maybe even ABCD pattern dip, those can give some pretty solid momentum. And this really showed that it had that ability. CDIO popping up as well. Let's see, Edwin. Looks like you got Ruby for a couple trades here. First trade, 723 EST. Profit, profit, break even, profit. Nice trade there for 733 for the extension up over 381. And then red on that one. Nice job, Edwin. Nice trading. All right, so I'm gonna start up the TikTok stream here. Right on a month so far. Yeah, no, I totally get you. It's been very hard to trade in this market recently, but we had a really nice movement today on Ruby. It's good to see. Even ENVB had some movement as well, so it's better than nothing, but still. Yeah, that should be a Weeble over time. So Ruby up a total of 80% today. It peaked at around 90 to 100% here at 428 and has sold off since. It has a stock with no news. It's a Greece company. The float's very low, but it's trading like a way heavier float than what it seems. So it's showing a float of 503,000, but I would assume that it's a little bit higher due to how thickly it's trading. But we were able to capture some decent profit on it. Some of the trades that I ended up taking was first here in this area. I bought a couple of these dips here, looking for these extensions, and they ended up paying out just a little bit, not too much profit here on these dips. And then as it started pulling away, I actually missed this move here, and so I got it on a dip here. And then I also got a couple of trades in this area looking for the breakthrough highs, and that ended up working out really nicely. It rejected, pulled back for a while, and I saw it start consolidating in this area. And so as it was consolidating in this area, I was saying to myself, if it can hold over support of 341, maybe we can see it pop and squeeze. And so I ended up taking a starter here at 341, and I held throughout this entire extension. I didn't really feel comfortable adding. And I think one of the reasons why I didn't feel too comfortable adding in this area was because, it was kind of thickly traded here, and I was worried that if it popped up, it might reject really quickly. But this one actually held up over 4 and then dipped down just below this area, curling all the way up to 428 and then selling off right after that. So wasn't able to pull out too much on this one, but still a pretty nice solid green day. And from the momentum that we've been getting, it's a lot better than nothing. So pretty good day so far. Our second leading gainer right now is FOFO. This one just popped up recently. It is a Hong Kong company. What we know about Hong Kong stocks is they're a little bit more tricky to trade. Since they have a lot of manipulation in those type of markets, that these stocks typically pop up and drop down really quickly, and especially with no news, there's no real reason to trade it. So no trades on this one for me, but it was up a total of 50% coming into this morning, now down to 19. Our second leading gainer now is about 37% higher. It was TRNR. It's a very, very cheap stock. It's up 64 cents and then has curled back since then. So about 50% at its peak. We had BOXL pop up this morning as well. This one was really choppy from yesterday even. It was after hours play where it popped up and pulled back. We had BON bond stock. This is a Chinese company. It does have news. The news is Bond announces breakthrough development of Apple Biotech mask. Clinical data exceeds expectations, targeting about $100 billion of medical aesthetics market. So the news on this one is pretty decent, but because it's a Chinese company, I'm worried that there might be some insiders on it. Was watching Ruby earlier, but then it started looking like it was going to sell off. Was watching another stock as it popped up after consolidation. Yeah, I think at some point there we had a bunch of different stocks popping up. We had ENVB as well as CDIO. PFSA also hit the scanner too. So a bunch of different stocks were popping up, and then I think Ruby was on the back burner for a lot of people. And so as soon as it started pulling away, people were jumping in and sending the stock a little bit higher, which was kind of the perfect storm for it, right? We had this dip here and then this pull away pattern, and it finally held up this area. But that was about it on Ruby. There wasn't, in reality, it didn't really move up that far, but we were able to scalp some profit off of it and make just 80 cents per share on the day, which is pretty decent on this type of momentum. So we also had, let's see here, JZXN, which is a stock that popped up earlier this morning. It's kind of popped up and dropped down each time, so pretty nasty rejections. Not really trustworthy. Also a Chinese company. We know that Chinese companies kind of love this slower momentum. And I think that's because there's nothing else moving, that people end up giving in for FOMO and start trading these Chinese companies a little bit more. We also had ENVB. This one popped up. I actually am sitting small red on it today. The trades that I ended up taking on it, I pulled it up here in this area. I watched it pull and break over $3 a share, and I actually didn't punch it there. And one of the reasons why I didn't punch it there was I was worried that it might pop up and reject, kind of like what PFSA did or CDIO and a lot of these other companies. And so this one ended up pulling away to 350 to 450, dropping back down. I took a scalp here, went green on it. And then I ended up taking another dip trade here just at just over $3 a share, and I ended up giving back some profit. So that was pretty much the end of today's trading day. There was not really else moving. Ruby, obviously was the best stock. I traded this phenomenally well. I think my accuracy on it was pretty high, but even then I still could have pulled out a little bit more on it. I was holding for some other moves that rejected. And then there was some other attempts that I tried that didn't fully work out and had a sold break even and flat. So once it started pulling away, it was really nice to catch a good winner after a little bit of a tougher week coming into this month so far. So I'm going to upload my prop reports here to see what was the accuracy for today. So it took about 8 trades with a 75% accuracy, pretty decent. Only one loser coming in with a $12 on ENVB. Traded Ruby about 100% on the day, which is good. So now I think it's just a patient waiting game until market open and seeing if Ruby wants to rally up. Some key levels that I'd be watching out for is for the breakthrough 4. If we can break over 4, maybe we can see that squeeze back up to highs at 428. And if that's the case, then that could potentially go to 5. But right now I'm expecting a little bit of a sell-off coming into market open, just due to the fact that it made a really nice move and it needs some time to consolidate before making the next one. With it being so thickly traded and some big sellers up here, there was frequently at times 40 or 30,000 shares on the ask. And so that creates a lot of resistance and overhead resistance for us to, as buyers, looking to get into those levels. Did anyone end up getting some nice trades on this one over in the TikTok chat? I know we had some pretty nice winners from the members at DTSM. No trades so far for Jason. Gotcha. Yeah, I think there was a lot of great opportunities on Ruby, but once again, it was really choppy. If you were trading off the 10-second chart or even the 1-minute chart, there was some really choppy action. What I found a little bit easier to read was the 5-minute chart in some of these areas, especially for the first, 5-minute candle to make a new high. Those gave some pretty nice scalps. And then also the 1-minute dips, I ended up getting some pretty nice dip trades on this one. If we play this back here, I'm going to zoom out. And so the one of the first trades I ended up taking was this scalp here in this area. Let me back this up and zoom in. So this was one of the best trades so far of the day. I ended up taking this scalp here, looking for a dip trade. It bounces up to 350, curls back lower, scales a little bit higher. I add here, looking for that extension. It dips down. I add back. First 1-minute candle, make a new high. It pops up, 20 cents, which was amazing. It was a really good trade. Later on, we ended up curling down a little bit, and I ended up looking for a consolidation breakout pattern just over here, as the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA were good consolidation points. I bought this dip here looking for that extension. I was selling as it was going higher, and then I held the rest looking for profit targets in this area, and I took some out at 4 and I took some more out at 410. That was it for the stock pretty much. Nice job. Nice job. Good trading. Top wicks prevented me from pulling the trigger on Ruby earlier. Yeah, there was a lot of candle wicking in this area, especially over 340. It had a really tough time holding over consolidation at 340. And then once it started pulling away, especially up over in this area, it was really nice. And so some breakout spots that we were looking for was 378 and possibly this breakout over 389. And then before you know it, this thing started squeezing and made some really good rallies. So now we're kind of in this consolidated range here. We have support at 373. Oh, thanks, Rick. So market opens in about 8 minutes or 18 minutes, I guess. So what I'll be looking for the market watch list is Ruby's on the top list of the day. So I'll put that on another side chart. We also have CDIO that popped up. We have CISS and ENVB. Even though it's sold off, every now and then we can see a possible bounce trade on some of those. So that'll be on the watch list. Right now we are curling over on ENVB. We can pull this one up here. So it popped up here early this morning, went to a high of $4 a share, and then dipped all the way back down. And so now if we can see a breakup over 280s, 290s coming into market open, maybe this thing can start flying back higher. So that'll be on the watch list: ENVB, CISS, CDIO, and Ruby. Good morning, Michael. Good morning. Got destroyed on EMVB, got back in for the break of VWAP, hard rejection. Yeah, that absolutely. I traded EMVB as well. I missed this first entry here. This was a really nice breakthrough, $3 a share. Ended up missing that trade, and I ended up getting this dip. It bounces up over the dip, and then I got some profit out here, and then it rejected pretty hard. So, I had a similar story to you, but I got in off a dip, so it helped my cost basis a little bit more. What programs or apps do I suggest for you to get to be able to day trade? Well, it depends what market you want to day trade in. If you're looking to trade small caps like the stocks that I trade, I would really recommend you using a direct access platform. So a direct access platform would be, DAS Trader, Sterling Trader, Lightspeed. Those are the 3 big ones that most people use right now. And then if you wanted a chart platform with, breaking news and scanners, I would really recommend Day Trade Dash. So that's going to give you, high a day momentum scanners, running up scanners, low flow top gainer scanners. And then we also have a charting platform built in, and then a news platform as well. So I think a combination with a direct access platform and a platform that gives you chart scanners and news all together could be a really good place for you to start. Yeah, of course, Rick. So we do have some other news headlines coming out at 9:15, but it doesn't look like there's too much right now so far. All right, so market open here, 15 minutes. We have NP hitting the scanner, no volume here. ETSY has news, but it's kind of sold off. We have BOXL, cheap IIBO, also cheap TRNR, and then Ruby. So this is the one that made the really nice move from this morning. So if thanks everyone, I appreciate it. So yeah, if you guys missed it from earlier, they ended up trading this one throughout the day here. My first trade on it was pretty early at 6:59 a.m. And so I ended up getting a pop through VWAP. It popped about 30 cents, and I didn't take my profit off. I was actually looking for it to maybe scale up back to 350, 360, and maybe up to 4 for the breakthrough highs. And so it popped up and immediately rejected. I got a couple more scalps in this area. I was basically sitting break even on it. And then here in this area, I pulled out about $50 of profit as it continued to scale up from 340s up to 380s, and then it dips down, rejects this area, consolidates, and I ended up getting this really nice dip trade here at 341, looking for the extension all the way back up to 425, and then it ended up pulling back. I sold all my profit up at 410. That was it for me today. So those were my trades from this morning here. We are curling back up here on RUBI. I'm not too sure if it's going to want to pull away or not. I'm worried about a rejection in this area. It's nice to see it pull up there to 390s, but we got to be able to manage some risk on this. And because you already really made a nice move up, if this starts to, turn back down and sell off, it could be a nasty rejection. So I'll be watching for the possible breakup over $4 a share. That would be one of our first key levels to break. So up here to 393, that's nice. Watching for a rejection if that's the case up in this area. If not, we're looking for the breakthrough 4. That's 396. Let's see if shorts want to come in on this one. I don't see any big sellers yet. We do have a lot of green volume coming through on the tape. So watching the level 2 here. That's 93. That's 94. Nice. I think I'd be getting in a little bit too high if I took a entry here right now. Yeah, if it can hold over 386, that's a key level of support here as well. 384, 386. And then another key level would be $4 a share and then back through highs. And so now we're seeing 396 on the ask. Nice pull away here. I think it's worth the possible stab for the breakthrough 4. So let's watch. There's 4. There's some big sellers here at 4, about 15,000 shares. Looking for a small scalp in this area. So watching for a dip. There's 398. $397. What's up, trading? 30,000 shares. Watch the seller get broken up. So a little bit of a countdown up to 3. There you go. Nice, nice. Nice up to 4. Watching for a pullback here, just a 4. And then watching for the next rally up higher. I'm worried that this might start rejecting. So watching for the squeeze up through 417. Adding here at 420. Nice. Taking some profit off as it squeezes up over 440 here. Half off at 440. Average position 418. So nice squeeze up there. So I ended up adding here. It's coming all the way back down though. 318 is my average. Taking some more off here just for just under $100 of profit. Let's see if it holds over 318. So that was a really nice extension. That's 30. Nice. Let's see if it starts curling again and gives us a nice rally and maybe a potential short squeeze. I think shorts are getting really aggressive on this one if they're under the water. I didn't expect it to break up over 4 the way it did, but I'm really happy to see it snap up. So that's 420 there. Let's see if it curls. My average position is still 418. So holding about a quarter of my position left. Coming back down. So selling flat there, but still really nice trading in this area. We are coming into a little bit of a top tail there. Bought 300 shares, sold. Nice job. Nice trading. But very nice job, Jason. Good trading in that area. No, I wasn't too sure if it was going to pull away up over 4. I'm very happy that it ended up doing that. But the way it broke out was really slow. And then before you know, it was pulling away up to 420. I got this dip here for 418, looking for that extension up to 446. And then now, pretty big rejection candle coming in on from the 5-minute. Yeah, man. Yeah, Q. Like, after a bunch of red days, and especially in a slower and colder market, it's really tough. It takes a toll on your mental. So having a good solid green day and getting back up to, full strength here and, trading with 100% accuracy on Ruby, helps out the confidence a lot more. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks for the confetti, John. It looks like some people pulled out some pretty good green days as well. So I'm not the only one sitting nice and green today. Yeah, I agree. I'm not too certain that Ruby's going to continue moving up here, especially after a high volume rejection candle on the 5 minute. I took off half at 43. I was looking to see if I can pull out even more profit on it, but it ended up rejecting pretty hard from the high there at 46 back down to 24, then 18, and eventually I sold flat for the rest of my shares. But you never know with these ones. I mean, sometimes they can start pulling away, and before you know, it's at $5, $6, $10 a share. We had a move the other day coming into pre-market where it was at, I believe, around $3 a share, and then went up to 4, 5, 10, 15, 23, 30, 40, 66, 76, and it was a pretty insane move. And so, I think it was PLYX made an insane short squeeze coming into pre-market. And you don't really expect that, but every once in a while you can get these pretty sweet moves, especially when short sellers are getting overly confident on a certain setup and have to buy back those shares covering that extension. Yeah, the float says it's 500,000 shares, but I'm not too certain that it is. And the reason why I say that is because it's just trading super thickly. It's not really trading like a normal low float stock. Does it have a shelf registration? We can go check. Let's see, Ruby. I haven't even checked if it did or not. Looks like they filed for a prospectus earlier. So let's see how many shares. Looks like they have warrants. I think it's 2 million shares. Warrants up to 2 million, 2.5 million. So pretty sweet move here on Ruby. But so far, we've been trading with 49 million shares. So if they wanted to sell shares on the open market, I mean, there's plenty enough volume to do that. And I'm expecting, in some of these highs, they were someone that was in there previously might have been taking some profit off. So pretty decent trading day. We have about 3 minutes to market open here. We can see if Ruby wants to continue. I have CISS gapping up. Currently, I also have that on the watch list, and then CDIO. So watching about 3 or 4 tickers coming into this morning, right? We have ENVB, CISS, CDIO, and Ruby. After Ruby made that really nice top there, I'm not too sure how much more this is going to want to give. Do I suggest to wait for a green candle to close at the top of breakouts and high volume to buy? I think that would be good too. Sometimes it's better to get in anticipation. And so that's where, tape reading comes from. And so typically what I'm reading is the level 2 in time and sales. And so if there's, good momentum, I'm looking for a breakup over these levels. And so not always do you want to wait for a candle to hold. Sometimes it's a good strategy to have in case, it really starts to pull away and you're looking for a break over a half or whole dollar key level. And so even right now, this is setting up for a potential curl rejection pattern up over 420. And so I would, for me, I would wait until it can hold over 420 and then curl back over, because you don't want to get caught in these rejections. So I think that's a good strategy, but sometimes getting in anticipation can also be very beneficial. Oh, thanks, Pedro. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think it was very easy to miss some of these moves. from today, because before you know it, it was going without us, and but I was able to catch on to some of these rides and hold on for a little bit, so it's always beneficial. Yeah, I know there's a lot of doom scrollers as well, especially on I stream on TikTok, so people can get very, very distracted easily. So about 30 seconds to market open here. Let's watch to see what RUBI does coming into market open. Typically, the first couple minutes of market open, I sit on the sidelines, just observing, seeing what the market wants to push these stocks towards, and afterwards I'll jump on and maybe take a couple trades. You as well, Pedro. Have a good one. I like getting in when the 9 EMA crosses above the 20, or when the 9 pulls back to the 20 with volume. Yeah, those are some good entry points as well. So nice pop back up here to 430s. Let's see if it can hold, right? This is a crucial moment for this stock to hold this level. Looks like it popped up and immediately dropped back down. So very choppy in this area. You have to be careful in managing some of your risk here. High volume selling candle coming in as well. We have about 10,000 shares on the ask. So crazy pull away there and then immediately rejecting in this area. It's not a good sign for the stock. I didn't feel comfortable adding in here, especially since we rejected once and twice. We've had a couple of rejections here and here as well. So each time it's getting popped up, shares are getting sold into on this one. So now it's dropping all the way back down to 340s and 4. So I'm going to be hands off on RUBI coming into this morning. But so that's going to be it for me over on the TikTok stream. I appreciate everyone for tuning in today. We'll be back again live tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so wildcard stock day. We never know what we can get on that type of momentum. So after coming in from today, sitting on a nice green day tomorrow, let's look to do the same and continue getting better each and every day. If you haven't already checked out dtsm.com or join dtsm.com, I stream live over there every morning at 7 o'clock until the end of the day when I'm done trading. And there's also that live recording session, which I'm going to get up pretty shortly as well, from some of my trades that I took today, because there were some pretty nice entries to study, and I want to break them down for everyone over in that community. So thanks everyone for tuning in today, and we'll see you again tomorrow bright and early at 9 o'clock over on TikTok. Thanks everyone. All right, so I'm going to go to trades here. I'm going to delete the today's date. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Select action, delete trade, submit, and then I got to re-upload. Let's go to export this file, save, and then resubmit this. So finished with pretty good accuracy today. I started off pretty slow, a few break-even trades before pulling out some good P&Ls and, managing some risk on some of those losses. So I think it was a very good day today. I'm going to break down most of the trades from today. If it doesn't get uploaded today, it'll absolutely get uploaded tomorrow. I have an exam today again that I got to take. It's been quite a semester already. But Yeah, I think today was a really good day. There was a lot of good trades, a lot of good learning opportunities, especially on a move like this, from experienced traders or even beginner traders. So I would love to break this down a little bit further. I think that's going to be it for me today. I don't expect too much from Ruby. This might start pulling away later on, 10, 10:30, maybe even 12, if there's some good solid momentum. I just unfortunately can't sit here for it. I have some stuff that I need to take care of, but this thing can pretty much pull away very quickly coming into some of these mornings. But thanks everyone for tuning in today. I appreciate the support and being part of this community and watching this trading thing unfold in front of you, because there's moments where it's really slow, and then there's moments where it's like today or even stronger. So you never know where we're going to get, and that's why we show up each and every day coming into the market. It's important. But thanks everyone, and we'll see you again tomorrow morning. You as well, John. Have a good one. Peace, everyone.